Hey YouTube! This weekend was YCS Chicago, and I decided to take Madolches since they got their new support in Savage Strike. I did about as good as I thought I would do. I didn't make day 2. I believe round 7 it was my third loss, and I decided it just really wasn't worth pursuing the rest of the tournament, but I was happy with the results. So this is a slightly modified build from what I played this weekend, but I will explain those choices as we go on. So first off, we have 3 Madolche Magileine. As we know, it's the Searcher. It's very crucial, especially now with the new card. We have Madolche Anjelly. Anjelly is still as good as it always has been. It's only gotten better with the new card because it allows you to go even farther, and it is a 1-card tiramisu in so many different ways now. It's fantastic. This is the new card, Petingcessoeur. So this is the reason that you would want to play the deck now. This allows you so many different combos and plays just off of either Magileine, Anjelly, or herself, or if you already have your graveyard set up, you can use Hootcake right here, which I play 3 of as well. And basically they're your combo starters, and if you're going first, you're able to end with a relatively decent board where the following turn you will be able to kill your opponent by shuffling their whole field in and easily putting over 8,000 damage. It's pretty straightforward. Now, I only play 2 Messengelato. I play 1 of the cat, and I play 1 Puddingcess. I believe 2 Messengelato is probably the way to go. 1, you draw it too much, and then you aren't able to do many of your combos. There are several combos where you summon 2 in 1 turn, and you do want to get both of those searches because of how important they are now, since basically you're always going to have a fairy on the field and you're always going to get an extra summon. It allows you to put so much damage on the board. The cat is okay, but overall I don't know if you really need it anymore, but I haven't decided to cut it yet. And Puddingcess is amazing now that you can make it a level 4 off of Petingcessour's effect, and that's just, it's amazing. And her effect is still pretty good, but you know, overall you don't need 2. I've seen some builds playing 2, and you definitely don't need to play 2. On to like supporting monsters, we play our triple Ash Blossoms. It's very good. If you can afford this card, which you will be able to sometime, I think in the next week or 2, with the release of that structure deck, you definitely play 3 of this card. I know people think it conflicts with Petingcessoeur, but it's too good not to play. Now Gameciel, this allows you when you're going second to just move any problem out of the way. It's very good against Thunder Dragons. It's very good against Sky Striker. The other kind of techie card I play is Pankratops. It's pretty good. I didn't have any issues with it all day when I was playing. I just needed more cards to be able to bait out either hand traps or back row or anything before I got to make my Madolche play. So I figured that was a good thing to try out. I didn't want to play Mind Control because, I mean, it gets rid of a monster, but it doesn't really address it. I also play 1 of each of the Madolche spells, the Ticket and Chateau. I've seen builds that play 2 of 1 or 2 of both. I don't think you need it. It's a great extender. It is better than ever now because of so many of the new interactions with the cards. They trigger effects, they give you more special summons, they give you more advantage. They're fantastic. But if your play is negated, they still don't do anything, so I'd rather play other cards that either help you continue with your play or, you know, just allow you to bait out things so your play doesn't get stopped. Then I play 3 Called by the Grave. This card is fantastic. It was good all day, even drawing multiples. There was no issues with it. I also play 1 Upstart. And then for the tournament, I played 2 Chalice, but I'm down to 1 now. Chalice is mainly just to address things on when you go second and you have to deal with monsters with lingering effects, such as Thunder Dragons do that quite a bit. You would play Impermanence over this card. I only have 1 Impermanence, so this is what I'm playing right now. Then for traps, I play triple Solemn Warning. This is just a great card. It's a little slow, but if you make it to your turn after setting it and you don't use it on your opponent on their turn, it can stop hand traps, which is fantastic, so your play goes through. But also it's really good in the fact that you can use it to interrupt your opponent's play on their turn. Now this card, Threatening Roar, I played Wabaku in the tournament, and I lost a game because I should have been playing Threatening Roar. Threatening Roar is an out to evenly match. They attempt to add your battle phase, going first, and they have evenly matched, they decided it against you, and you activate Threatening Roar. They're no longer allowed to go into their battle phase, therefore they can't go to the end of their battle phase. You get to live a turn, because they can't attack you, and then you win on your following turn, and it's fantastic. All the other two cards are Imperial Order, which was okay, and Infinite Impermanence. You definitely would want to play 3 of this card, and I would definitely cut Chalice, and I'm not entirely sure what else you would want to cut, but you want to max this card out. It is removal, well, it's not removal, it's interruptions on your opponent's turn, and it helps on your turn as well. Now for the extra deck, I play 2. This is the main card you're going to go into on your first turn. This is also the main link you're going to go into in general, because Petingcessoeur locks you out of going into other links. But that doesn't usually matter, This card is good enough on its own because it's a Madolche, and it protects your spells, which is a lot more crucial than it should be. And because she shuffles in, you can be aggressive occasionally and trigger effects on your turn by attacking into your opponent's monsters. Some other semi-generic links, I play Mrs. Radiant and Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker is mainly just if you end up with weird things on your field, if you have to summon a hand trap, if you need to link climb into something, you go into Underclock Taker. Mrs. Radiant came up once where I went into it, crashed into a monster, took some damage, and then added back an Anjelly. And then I was able to actually make a play on my turn finally, but it's okay. And then I play the Nightmares. I would consider them stable. Unicorns never came up just because I never had that many monsters on a field without using Petingcessoeur, but I think you would still want to play it because it's kind of a generic removal. Play Knightmare Phoenix. It did come up, it was promptly negated, but what happens. And then in testing, Cerebus was still pretty good, so I decided to continue to play it. And then I also play Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker is just kind of something to go into if you have extra monsters on the field, and Unicorn is only good being aggressive. You need to do that to get rid of things on your opponent's side of the field. If they have nothing on the field and you need to almost be defensive, you go into Decode Talker. And I never use its effect, but its ability to get stronger, like the 500 boost, comes up quite a bit. So sometimes just keeping on the field and having it so big is enough to buy you a turn, and that's all you need with this deck. And also, I max out the Queen Tiramisu, and I play 2 of the Chocolate a la mode. These cards they're insane. They really are. Tiramisu is the best removal, in my opinion, in the entire game. It does not target, it hits 2 cards, and they go back to deck. It's truly unfair, and it's once per turn, but it's a soft once per turn. It means you can make several in a turn and just get rid of your opponent's field, which is just ridiculous. And then Puddingcess has gotten only better thanks to the new card, because it's so easy to go into her with Puddingcess underneath her. There's just so many plays now where it's relevant, and the extra special summon, the extra, 300 attack, making her 3000 when you have the field spell, all that, it's just relevant. And then 2 changes, Exciton and Tornado Dragon. I lost a game because I wasn't able to out There Can Only Be One. And if I was able to exceed, I could go into either of these and quick effect just either get rid of their field with Exciton, which would have been fantastic, or even Tornado Dragon just to blow up the back row. I feel like it doesn't come up very often, but if you're under any oppressive floodgates, they are relevant. So I would consider playing it. I cut a Sistart, and then I cut Lance Ferencis as well, which is that other generic link too, and neither of them really came up. I never needed a 3rd Sistart, so it was okay. All right, on to the side deck. I played triple Gozen Match. This is good against Sky Striker, it's good against Altergeist, it's good against a lot of rogue decks, and it doesn't affect your deck at all since you're all Earth. I also played Heavy Storm Duster. Back row removal is very important. It was pretty good against that Guru control deck. It would have been good against Altergeist. It would have been good against Sky Striker in theory. I also cited triple Evenly Match. This deck does lose to Evenly Match, but also when you go second, it's amazing to be able to clear their board before you go into Tiramisu, as long as they have no way to negate this. It's just too good of a card not to play. I also played Red Reboot. This is really good against Altergeist in theory. It's pretty good against that Guru control deck. They play a lot of back row. It's just good because you can activate it when they try and activate a floodgate, or if they try and strike your summon, you know, anything like that. I also cited Droll and Lockbird. This is pretty good against like a lot of those FTK-esque decks, a lot of those decks that are just playing dangers and just spamming the board and drawing and all this crazy stuff, going into Saryuja 3 times. Saw a lot of that. And that wraps up the side deck. Okay, and that wraps it up. Let me know if you want to see any combo tutorials. There's a couple pretty cool starting moves or going second plays that you can do, assuming, of course, you are not interrupted by hand traps. All right, thank you. Let me know what you think.